Hello, everyone. I wanted to welcome you at this time to the Stamps.com webinar series. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a couple of minutes. I'm waiting for a few more of our registrants to actually sign on to the webinar. So while we do that, again, I just wanted to thank all of you for joining us today and spending some time with us. We'll try to keep this webinar to no longer than an hour. Probably can wrap it up around 45 minutes or so. We will definitely leave enough time for Q&A to make sure that we address all your questions. Keep in mind, just in case at the end we have not responded to you, we will respond to your question by the end of today, hopefully. So we will communicate with you and make sure that every question that is submitted is responded to. Joining me today on this webinar, we have basically a total of 2 people from Stamps.com. Myself, again, my name is Kevin Vahidi. I am the PC Postage Marketing Manager for Stamps.com. And joining me from Stamps today is Eric Nash, who is our Director of Online Marketing. And then we also have James Booker, who is the Business Development Manager at Volusion. Volusion is one of our partners, and we work very closely with them. They were able to spend some time with us today to add some additional information for our webinar and help us out and answer any questions that you may have just in time for the holidays. We'll go ahead and get started here in another 15 seconds or so. I'm sorry for the wait. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Again, thanks everyone for joining us. Obviously the holidays are creeping right up, and I'm sure most of you have already hopefully started doing some preparation. As many of you may know, practically speaking, the holiday period for all of us and marketers and people that have stores online really should start end of July, early August if you're planning the marketing cycle and actually, strategizing how to leverage every possible marketing avenue and channel to prepare properly for the holidays. But the official period that is always measured is November 1st through December 31st. So those 60 some odd days are the days that really matter for people that officially track the holiday season. But I'm sure most of you have already seen some ads out there, and soon, within a week or so, you'll start to see a lot more as everyone has started even earlier. And of course, the Christmas trees are out in the stores as well. So starting today's webinar, we wanted to share some statistics with you before actually diving into the bulk of the information. So I have 4 statistics on here. There's a lot that you can find out there, but I found these to be very important, and they speak really to what we're looking at in our presentation today. First, looking back at 2009, obviously we were still in a recession. It's good to point out and to see that 3/4 of online shoppers actually increased their holiday spending from the year prior. And that's according to Forrester research. And a similar trend is expected for the 2010 holiday season. This season actually predicted to show a very similar trend, as obviously convenience and bargain-based deals continue to drive holiday shoppers online as opposed to going to the physical store. Now, they will obviously still go to the store, but they're going to also look more and more to the online channels for what they're looking for their purchases. Also, during the 2010 holiday season, e-commerce sales currently are projected to increase by 15%. I'll speak more of that on the next slide, but I thought it's a very good number to show that definitely we are looking at an increase in this year's holiday season, hopefully. And then 20% of consumers are expected to look to social media sites for discounts. Obviously, Facebook and Twitter are 2 of the main ones, but there are others as well, which we'll discuss in this presentation. And I thought that number, again, is very strong. 20% of consumers are looking to those channels. So are you utilizing and leveraging those channels? Whether you are or not, we can provide some assistance and some value for you today. And finally, 44% of consumers plan to start their holiday shopping before Halloween, which, again, is very timely, as Halloween is just a few days away. So, moving forward, there's just a couple more statistics, and this goes back to showing this year's projected increase of 15%. During the 63-day holiday shopping period between November 1st and December 31st, in 2009, U.S. consumers spent $29.1 billion online, and that's from the research from ComScore. This was actually a 4% increase from the year prior in 2008. If you just look at this chart, I highlighted the important figures for you. From 2007 to 2008, we actually saw a decrease of 3%. In 2009, we saw an increase of 4%. And in 2010, it's a projection of 15%. That is the most aggressive projection that's out there. Other projections from Comscore show this to be around 7 to 9%. But either way you look at it, everyone is projecting somewhere in between 7 to 15%, which, all of those numbers are higher than what we've seen in the previous years. And as I mentioned earlier, the official holiday sales period is November 1st to December 31st. Now, in today's webinar, the agenda, we're going to talk about 4 things, and these are the most important things that we feel you should focus on. It starts out by improving your site, making sure you've got proper navigation and intuitive design. Also, once you have that done, you want to obviously drive traffic to your site. So how to increase traffic with search marketing. There's a lot of things you can do that will take a long time to actually show and result in to actually drive that traffic to your site. But we want to focus on things that you can actually do today or tomorrow and make those items actionable so that you can actually see the results for this holiday period. And then we're also going to talk about increasing conversion. So once you've got the people to your site, how are you going to increase conversion? We'll briefly touch on that and show you a few neat ways where you can actually, again, quickly make an actionable item out of it and make sure that you see increased conversion this holiday season. And then finally, we'll touch on streamlining your shipping and fulfillment. We've had other webinars that have really specifically talked about this, and we continuously have information on our website that we can guide you to, but I just wanted to touch on 1 or 2 things that could assist you with shipping and fulfillment. And obviously, that's a huge part of your sales and what goes into the operational side of things. So before driving that traffic to your website, obviously, it's important to improve the site navigation and design. We want to focus on 5 things here. So to capitalize on this increased holiday traffic, you want to ensure that you've got the intuitive navigation and the proper design that makes sense. The 5 areas we want to focus on that we feel are the most important are 1, removing roadblocks. 2 is focusing on the high impact areas. Then making sure you've got enough detail and description and enough content that's unique enough that's going to actually help and do something for you out there in the search marketing world. Also making sure that you feature your best sellers and that you do make suggestions. And finally, create sense of urgency. Now, there are many more that we can talk about, but we wanted to just focus, obviously, on 5 that we feel are very important that you can start working on right away. So the first one being removing roadblocks. There are 3 things here that we recommend. 1 is simplify the shopping path. This has been talked about a lot. The fact is, less clicks is going to equal more sales at the end of the day. So you don't want to confuse your consumer. The shopper that's on your website wants to quickly be able to browse and put that product into their cart and check out. It may stay there longer and purchase other things, but if it was just that one product, how quickly can you get them to the checkout screen? Optimal clicks, based on some of the research we've done and seen, it basically shows that the required amount of clicks should not be any more than 4. If you can make it 3, that's perfect. 4 is fine too. Any more than 4 for getting from the shopper to seeing your product and checking out would be too many. Reducing any and all inhibitors to conversion. This is especially important at checkout, but you obviously want to limit any confusing messages that are going to be on your website. This theory can be applied to the entire site, and it almost always leads to a boost in sales activity. After all, why would you want to distract any of your buyers with anything that's unrelated to a particular product that you're trying to actually sell? And so, we feel that you want to make sure to remove any additional messaging that might take away from that sale that does not belong in that immediate presentation where you have your product. And then finally, a major roadblock is, not providing clear and concise contact information. There's nothing more aggravating, and I'm sure you've all experienced this, or suspicious than when you have a missing phone number, no email address, or hard to find contact information. So you want to be sure to display the hours when customer service reps are available. Customers always get frustrated when they try to find that information. And so, they won't stick around long if they can't find it. Especially during the holiday season, shoppers want to feel confident that you're a trustworthy source. So clearly providing the info will show that you can be trusted as a business, even if the consumer never even uses the information. They just want to be sure that it's accessible and that it's there for them to use should they need it. So not having this information could be a roadblock, could be pretty devastating because they could just right away leave your website and not even want to spend any more time or come back to it. So make sure that you have that clearly available on your site. Next, you want to focus on high-impact areas. Now, some of this is obvious. You want to make sure you have a great home page. That's going to be the first impression. So you want to focus on these areas. The top three are home page, category pages, and then product-specific. Even better if you can make landing pages for those products. And then, research shows that those pages actually help to convert business. Research shows that 64% of online shoppers are influenced by the look and feel of your home page. So if they like your home page, the likelihood of making a purchase on the site dramatically improves. So that's why the home page, we consider that a very high impact area. After all, it is the first impression in the window into your world. So make sure that it's perfect. And then, of course, the holidays, you always want to dress up your site with holiday gear. I provided a couple of examples here from Target and Banana Republic. Those are easy examples. These companies are, have this down to a science. They know what to do at the right time. So you can see that, Target has a lot of red. They always do because of their brand. But they have even more. They talk about the holiday season. And then on Banana's site, you see they have free shipping outline, which we'll talk about later. And they have coats on there. So whatever it is you can do, any little thing that you can do to dress up your holiday, your website, and give it a gear and a feel for the holidays, shoppers expect it, and it'll help you convert business and attract customers to your site. So you might want to change some of the main site graphics to seasonal relevant images. And if you're using people, like you can see here, make sure they're wearing coats. And that's just an example. But be creative and come up with great ideas. And use holiday language on the home page. And you should be doing that starting today if you can, definitely in the next week or so. So you'll notice that in the next couple of weeks, actually, that most of the big box retailer websites will be covered in all holiday gear. And obviously, that's not by chance. It would make sense for all of your websites to implement something along those lines, and focusing on these three areas: the home page, category page, and specifically your product. Once you've got that down, obviously, another very important area is making sure you've got enough detail and description for your product. So I've got 4 bullet points here that really talk about the types of things that you need to have. Basically, consumers want to be able to see the item for sale. They want to know how much it is, and they also want to know as much as possible about the merchandise. So the more relevant info you're able to provide about your products, the higher the likelihood of actually selling them. And at the very least, try to enhance your product descriptions for all your existing products by adding more descriptive text. And those we call relevant keywords. You might also want to consider adding additional products specifically geared towards the holiday season. Add any videos that you may have. Any content that is unique that you can add about your product is going to be very valuable to your website. It's going to help you with search marketing, which we'll talk about later in the webinar. So one great tip to keep in mind, always write your own content as much as you can and your own descriptions, and try to keep them unique. Do not copy and paste from other similar product descriptions on other websites to your website. Because if you do so, it's going to prove to be a huge detriment to your search results. So we'll discuss this again later, but just make sure that you are thinking unique every time you put content up, regardless of what that product is. And if it's over, if it's a product that you can find on over 1,000 websites, it's going to be hard to find unique descriptions, but try to make it your own. And finally, just, again, an obvious point, make sure you highlight your value proposition in popular products and special offers, because a lot of people just don't do that. And, you have an amazing product that people love, but it's not featured, or you're offering free shipping, but you're not marketing it, and people don't find out about it until it's too late. That would be a shame. So make sure that you do put the obvious things up front for people to see. That'll pull them in, and then you can deliver other content to them. Next, you want to, just as I mentioned, feature your bestsellers. You want to make suggestions. People want to know from you what you feel is important, what you want to sell. I mean, as you can clearly see, again, 2 very good websites. You can see that Crate & Barrel on the left offers free shipping. Very clear, obvious. As soon as you go to the website, less than a second, you can see what's important. On the right, you can see Amazon, the Kindle. Obviously, they want to sell that. It's a hot item. They want to make sure there's focus on it. They know that people are interested in it. That's what's going to bring them into the website. So they don't waste any time with any other product. This is what's on the homepage. that's what's going to attract a lot of people, and then people are going to go into it, find out more, and then potentially go off into other areas of the website. So if you have important promotions like free shipping, save 20% if order placed by a certain date, if you want to get those early purchases, that's where you want to highlight them. Also, you want to create lists, like I said, make suggestions. People want to know, what are your top 10 products? What are the hot items? What should they be looking at? People want to get ideas from your website and show that you want to show to them that you can be trusted with information. So this is a great area where you can provide a lot of value for your shoppers and provide them with as much information and as many suggestions as you can. Another important area that we're going to focus on a little bit here is just making sure that you're creating a sense of urgency. You want to communicate any sort of pre-ordering options for new products, update the catalog, show inventory levels if you can. That always helps to create sense of urgency. Show how many pieces are left of that particular product. That's going to help someone make that decision hopefully that much quicker. Display all your shipping options. What are the respective prices? What are the deadlines? Make it obvious. Again, that's going to help to show that they need to make that purchase. This is going to help your shopper, have that sense of urgency. And then finally, use explicit wording. When it comes to shipping, use deadlines, cutoff dates, whatever you feel is going to help them click that checkout button and give them the sense of urgency. You want to prominently display all of those things on your website where they make sense. Again, make sure you're not displaying these at places where it distracts from the sale, but make sure you do have them on your website and that people can see them fairly easily enough within a couple of clicks. So those are the top 5 that we focused on and we wanted to spend some time on. And now we're going to sort of segue into a few others. Just quickly, some other ones that we recommend. I've spoken to these just a little bit, but I want to focus a little bit more on these. So you want to use creative promotions. Differentiate yourself. Again, another obvious point, but a lot of people use the same promotion, save 10%, save 20%. It's come to the point where shoppers are expected, they see it everywhere, they don't necessarily differentiate your offer from anyone else. So if you can come up with something creative, that's obviously going to put you in the lead. You want also, and to that, if you can create a special landing page with a special offer on it, that's even better. Then you want to also do some price testing, try some shipping offers. Obviously, there's not that much time to work with anymore. If you had done this earlier, it would have been ideal, but you could still in the next couple of weeks, if you want to get a gauge of what sort of shipping offer is going to work, what sort of prices you should be selling at, you could still try it in the next 2 to 3 weeks and still have enough time for the actual high peak shopping time, which will happen closer to Thanksgiving and through Christmas. This will help you actually get a gauge or a sense of what may or may not work to fine-tune your offers as you get closer to that high peak time of the season. Then you want to obviously leverage social media. Engage your followers. Like I said earlier in the statistic, 20% of people are going to look to social media. So you want to make sure you've got something going in those channels. You want to set up product feeds for comparison shopping. And I've listed some that exist there. Google, PriceGrabber, and Shopzilla are some of the biggest ones, but we're going to go into more detail here in just a minute and talk more about leveraging social media and setting up these feeds for comparison shopping. And then just finally, another obvious thing that I want to mention is, make sure that you're always reassuring your shoppers about safety. This is the time of year when you're going to get a lot of people coming to your website that for the first time they're purchasing an item. They've never purchased on a website, maybe. So they want to know the first thing they're looking at when they put in that credit card number, is it going to be safe? Show off your seal. Put your contact information. This is all going to help you, again, show that you're a trustworthy company, trustworthy website. And it's definitely one of the things that you absolutely must do to reassure shoppers' safety so that they actually stay on your site and so that they shop through you. So these are some additional tips, and we're going to now, as I segue into our colleague James Booker from Volusion, who's going to step in here and give a little bit more detail for you, because we felt that, it is very important to think about social media and of course, comparison shopping. These two have become more and more important throughout the past couple of years, and will continue to become more important as we progress through the next few years and beyond. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and just switch to the next slide, and I'll let James Booker introduce himself, and then James, if you'd be kind enough to take us through the next few slides from Volusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. I hope everyone's having a great afternoon or morning, depending on where you are. The holiday shopping is obviously a very busy time of the year, and at Volusion we certainly take that into effect and try to help out our merchants. And hopefully we can throw out some tidbits to you all as well, and kind of make your season a little more successful than the past. The first thing here, coupons and discounts. Obviously, this time of year, people are really looking for that extra step. We're coming out of a recession. People want to really look at shopping and getting everything for their buck. 2009 coupon redemption actually increased for the first time since 1999, so over a decade. And we're expecting that in this next year as well. So people are much more keen to be looking for discounts. So take that into effect. Black Friday, Cyber Monday are very big days to take those coupons and discounts to the next level. Cyber Monday, it's coming around, and really look at that. Definitely emphasize your shipping, emphasize the estimates, as Kevin was saying. Let them know when they're going to receive it, because it is, those last-minute shoppers that are coming in. Another item: help others help you. If you have an affiliate program out there, provide them with updated banners, holiday-themed promotions. Let them know that they are working with you. If you provide them the updates, sometimes you remind them that they're actually in your network, and they'll start to, oh yeah, I'm working for this other company, and help you guys out, and put those updated banners and everything. And then make schedule, post it. This is really just organization. Keeping those schedules, what you're going to be doing. This is a very fast-paced time of the year, so make it up, post it. App where you're looking at all the time, so when are my newsletters going out? When are my holiday promotions going out? What are my shipping estimates? When are those going to change? And keep up to date, and put that on your website. Let your customers know what they can expect from you, because a lot of customers, you want them to become return customers, and they may buy one item and they might come back again. Social media, as Kevin was getting into, social media has definitely become a buzzword over the last year. I mean, there's movies coming about it. There's everyone's having it, whether it's your parents, whether it's your friends, and also your customers. They're going to have these profile pages. They're going to have other ways of sharing information. So certainly let them work for you. People are going there looking for coupons and discounts, and this is an immediate way to get feedback. You can send out promotions on these outlets, on these platforms, and people will get them, use them. These are people that are targeted, qualified customers. They're they're fans of your page. They're they're on your Twitter. You can get with them and you can send them information, and they're going to use it much more than just throwing out a newsletter to a contact list. Ask customers questions, whether it's on a blog or on your any other avenue. You can run polls asking for gift ideas or follow-ups with discounts, and kind of gauge what they're interested in, gauge what they're looking for. These are always great ideas because, again, it's instant feedback. Where you can kind of move. You're not having to wait for analytics to come in a month down the road. And finally, use your blog. If you don't have a blog, definitely register for one. There's a number of different ways. You can get it free. Use that SEO work. Put that information, and that's all going to tie back to your site. All of these are just going to be leveraging other things you're doing, whether it's coupons and polls and SEO. Social media is just another avenue for those same exact mediums, and that's a way to really gauge your customers and figure out how to help them out. And then lastly, comparison shopping engines. These are definitely becoming a growing market out there. People will go to them. Everyone is going to go to Google or to Bing to look for their products, and then ultimately enough, they're going to end up finding the shopping sections on there. We've highlighted some of the free ones on here. There are dozens of them out there that have different varieties of, whether it's CPC or different, you're paying per click or rev share. But you can always start with the free ones. Some of them have free, then you can upgrade to the premium ones and get better placement. But these are ways where you can really find where people are looking for those, that bottom dollar. They're looking for those great discounts. So time is of the essence. Submitting your feeds early. They can take up, depending on which feed it is, it could take a day, it could take 4 weeks. So getting them up, if you haven't done them already, definitely try to get them either today or this week. Depending on what platform you're using, you can usually export the information out, throw it in there. Make sure it's relevant information. Some of these feeds require 5 fields. Some of these feeds may require a dozen fields. So make sure you're putting relevant information into the relevant feed, and you can really show off what you're selling. Also update the feeds. If you're putting up and you're changing your prices, but you haven't updated your feed, you're going to be giving them a false sense of what your products are. So make sure you update those feeds, the price information, product information, any other kind of sales that you're doing. There's also shopping feed systems out there. There's different platforms that manage feeds. So if you want to feed to 50 different comparison shopping engines, you can do that and not have to manage them all individually. Sometimes that can be a maintenance nightmare. So using these other platforms and other systems to help you is definitely going to be a great benefit, especially during this time of the holidays where you've got enough work to keep you busy. So definitely utilize other systems to help your day progress. Thank you, Kevin.
Perfect. No, thank you, James. And I just wanted to remind everyone on the webinar right now, James will be with us throughout the hour, and obviously we're here as well. So we've already received a few questions, but definitely if you have anything on your mind, just go ahead and submit your questions. We're working hard to respond to everything that's here, and then anything we can't respond to right away, we'll get back to, as I said earlier, by the end of today, you'll receive a response from one of us, depending on who the question is geared towards. So James will stay on. Thanks again for helping us out, James, from Volusion, one of our good partners. And then, and again, like I said, keep the questions coming, and then we'll do our best to get back to you. And this one, after we've talked about all this great information about improving your website and, giving you tips and hints and things that work and things you should be focusing on, now is a good time to basically segue into what is going to be equally important. Once you've got this improvement and you're ready to sell, how are you going to drive that traffic? James just hit on a few things, and to dive a little bit further into it and specifically focusing on 1 or 2 tactics that are going to be things you can quickly do for this holiday season in time, and also, again, and make sure you leverage those and drive in sales. Eric Nash is here now, who's our Director of Online Marketing, and he's going to take over the presentation and provide you with some important information that I think you'll find very useful, and so, again, and be able to use right away. Let me go ahead and pass this over to Eric. Eric, go right ahead.
All right, Kevin, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Eric.
Okay, great. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Thank you for that intro, and I'm looking forward to talking to everyone today about search marketing, and hopefully we can uncover some methods to drive extra traffic to your site this holiday season. One important note I wanted to bring up is that we'll only be discussing paid search tactics today. Natural search, which is also known as SEO, is a much harder process to generate results in a short period of time. So if you plan on making any SEO changes to your pages right now, make sure you choose pages that are not ranking very highly, because you'd hate to make a small change to a high-ranking page and end up ranking lower or losing your holiday sales. Many of the paid search tactics that we'll be talking about today are new areas that Google has recently launched to their paid search program. So hopefully these will be actions that you can get live within days or even hours, and the traffic will be program. For those of you who are unfamiliar with paid search compared to natural search or SEO, paid search refers to the yellow area on your screen. These are listings where the advertiser pays a cost per click to be listed on a specific keyword phrase. Those keyword phrases can be generic phrases such as a digital camera or a more specific product name like a Canon SLR 60D camera. Your position on the page will depend on how much you're paying per click and then what your click-through rate is versus the amount of impressions that Google's showing. The area in purple or blue on your screen is considered the natural search or SEO area. Google uses a secret algorithm to select which sites appear on the specific keywords in this area. That algorithm takes into consideration many different variables, such as the relevant content that's on your site, how many other sites are linking to your pages, your site architecture, as well as many other areas. Looking at the yellow area for a moment here, the paid search area, if you've never tried paid search before, I strongly suggest you test it as soon as possible. Paid search could turn into one of the most profitable sources of traffic generation for your site. Google's a great place to start, and you can spend as little as $5 or even $10 a day. And if you're new, check out the Google AdWords site because they've got a great video that describes the whole paid search process and how, and we'll walk through how to get started. My first tactic I wanted to talk about is Google Instant Search, which Google just launched here on September 8th. Google Instant is it shows relevant keyword results dynamically in the search bar here in that little red square area. As you're typing in the search box, Google Instant tries to predict the keyword phrase that you're searching for by displaying the results inside that search box. As you can see in this example, we're typing in Canon digital SLR cameras, and Google is showing different search queries that it thinks we're looking for. These suggestions are all based on Google's research for what the most common search terms are for a particular keyword phrase. Since Google Instant is live right now, we highly suggest you do an analysis to see which new phrases are appearing on your top keywords. The analysis can be really simple stuff, just taking your top keywords and doing manual searches and documenting which phrases are coming up. While they say they're doing the most popular search terms for those particular phrases, we have seen in our account lots of kind of new phrases popping up. And so you'll certainly find a few keywords you could probably add to your paid search program. In our recent analysis, we kind of were looking at, with our Stamps.com account, we were looking at all kinds of different things in terms of impression levels on particular keywords, as well as any new keywords that came up. And we saw a slight increase in mid-tail keywords, as well as an increase on some new phrases, such as terms like Stamps.com details, Stamps.com review. We've also saw a decrease in impressions on long-tail keywords, as well as misspelled keyword ad groups, which is unfortunate because those are usually high-converting keywords for us. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the long-tail and short-tail terminology, long-tail keywords are basically 3 or 4 or even more word combos that are very specific to a product or surface. An example could be Mirage, Hotel, December. Short-tail keywords, though, on the other end of the spectrum, are less descriptive, and an example could be Vegas Hotel. And mid-tail keywords are kind of someplace in the middle between both sides. With your analysis, every product will be different. So hopefully you'll find some new keywords that can help drive more traffic to your site this holiday season. My next tactic I wanted to discuss was some campaign optimization. If you plan on using promo codes this holiday season, don't forget to include these sales promotions in your paid search text copy. For consumers that are past the product research process and are looking to buy, that promotion that they see in your text ad could be the motivation to make the purchase with your store versus a competitor. As you can see some examples here between Amazon and Savings.com, they're showing the different promotions they're having. Another cool feature that Google launched this past year was site links. And this feature allows advertisers to place some text links below their regular standard text ad. The really cool aspect, and we're looking at the middle image here where it says Canon official site in the red square below. The really cool aspect about this is that you can use different landing pages on each site link. So for example, if someone was searching for, say, Canon digital cameras, as a store, you might be able to list popular Canon camera models that your store carries below the standard text listing. So the consumer can go directly to those specific product pages. And anytime you're able to eliminate hurdles and get the customer to their specific page they're looking for with less clicks, usually your conversion is going to go up. Another area I wanted to talk about was the Bing and Yahoo search merger. This has been in the works for months, and really was supposed to be completed by early September, but unfortunately Bing's had some problems or issues for whatever reason, and they're still testing. But the rumors are that the full switchover to Bing could happen really any day, or certainly by November 1st. And just to confirm that this is Bing or MSN Search will be taking over all of the Yahoo paid search listings here. So you need to really make sure that your campaigns in Bing are updated and your budgets are adjusted for this additional volume. Because once the switch is flipped, Bing and Bing takes over Yahoo search program, your Bing traffic should suddenly grow by 4 or 5 times. So make sure your budgets are ready for that additional volume, and you don't forget to do that and max out your budgets. Another new feature Google's launched this past year was Google Image Search Ads. Google's research shows that people do about 1 billion image searches a day. And so while they've always shown regular text ads on this page, they've now added a small image next to that listing. And you can target specific keywords just like a regular Google AdWords campaign. And so this is a great option to show photos of your products that your customers are actually looking for. Plus, Google allows you to create these, will allow you to create a specific campaign targeted only at image search. So if the campaign is not performing, you can easily turn it off without it affecting any of your other campaigns or traffic. And it is truly incremental traffic for your campaign there. Our last tactic for today is going to be paid search campaigns on YouTube. A little known fact here is ComScore is reporting that YouTube has become the 2nd largest search engine behind Google with 3.7 billion searches a month. That's almost 1 billion more searches than Yahoo, which would be in 2nd place at 2.7 billion, or I should say 3rd place now. So this is a huge untapped source of potential traffic for your site. And I would preface by saying you should test this because the intent of searches on YouTube could be much different than a regular search engine, but it certainly is worthy of a test. You can run 2 types of paid search ads on YouTube. The first one's promoted videos, and this is if you have your own product review video or a video how-to guide or even a TV commercial. YouTube's promoted videos offer you a great opportunity to get more exposure for that particular video. The ads appear at the top of the page, and you can use specific keywords to trigger those particular views. So it's really a great way to get some targeted traffic in YouTube. And if you don't have a video, it's really easy to create one. I'm sure as many of us have cruised through YouTube before, they definitely don't need to be anything extravagant or expensive. Really, content is the king here. So a regular video camera or even a flip pocket video camera will work. And as you kind of go through YouTube, you'll even see some people who've made great product review videos using their laptop webcam. And so for editing too, you can use cheap or even free video editing software. You can add graphics and logos and background music. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy, and the software usually will help you guide you through it. One important note, though, is that promoted videos will not drive traffic to your site. They'll just drive traffic to your video that's hosted on YouTube. So you'll need to make sure that your video that's hosted on YouTube includes some copy or links back to your site in your video description that you use. Another new area that YouTube has launched here has been overlay ads, and these are this is the bottom red square here. These are regular text ads that go over videos. They just launched this back in March, and this ad unit is obviously it goes right over a YouTube video. The targeting is based on Google's contextual system. And that uses the description content that you include when you upload a video or when one of their users uploads a video. Just looking at some examples of this, kind of going back to our camera example, imagine if you're selling cameras and you could place a text ad on top of every specific digital camera review. video. You'd be getting your message in front of customers as they're going through the product research process and they're closing in on the purchase. So that opportunity is really, really big. And since these YouTube overlay videos, or ads, excuse me, are fairly new, it's not really competitive yet. So there's could be some hidden gold for you to generate cheap targeted traffic. I guess that's it for the search. Let me send it back over to Kevin here.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate your help, and thank you for all the great info. Again, obviously very important. Some of you may not have seen some of that before, but keep in mind we'll have a recording of this webinar as well. So if you want to refer back to it, I will be able to share that recording link with you shortly after this webinar, so that you can go through it again at your leisure and basically just be able to kind of focus in on the important parts and try to leverage some of that for your own business. Continuing on, we're going to just wrap up very quickly in a few minutes, but the last two quick sections are going to talk about increasing conversion and also the back-end operation, streamlining your shipping and fulfillment. So, increasing conversion is important, obviously, again, just about the entire year, but during the holidays could be even more important. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is shopping cart abandonment and how to recapture that customer who's left your website for some reason or another. So this happens quite a bit. You want to remind abandoned shoppers of items that they left behind or pages they visited. So, the shoppers, we all know they're going to turn your carts into their wish lists, especially during the holiday hustle and bustle, and park some items there and then leave your site and go check prices elsewhere and comparison shop, as James was alluding to earlier. So, timely reminders will always bring them back, hopefully. Not always, I shouldn't say that, but at least that's the best you can do to try to bring them back. Many of them will come back and actually complete the checkout. So, prepare now by optimizing your cart abandonment program. You still have time to do so. These are things that you can quickly do. Some of the things are highlighted here. There are many things that you can do, but four that I'm focusing on for today's webinar is first, create some sort of an email series, 1 or 2, 3 emails, whatever you feel is appropriate, and then follow up properly with messages and distribute it a few hours after abandonment, maybe a few days later and 1 week later. I mean, we wouldn't recommend more than 3 emails. Maybe 2 is even the most you'd want to send out. But once you do that, you definitely want to adopt a service tone also. Try to provide assistance. What happened? Was there technical issues? Was there something we couldn't provide? Was there a payment method that you preferred that wasn't available? So, try to adopt that service tone and provide an email. And then obviously, you can also provide incentives. We'll touch on that in just a second. But you definitely want to offer them a chance to complete that transaction in other channels. Maybe they're not comfortable at the end of the day putting their credit card info into the website. Maybe they actually want to speak with someone. Provide live chat, provide call center access. Again, be transparent and make sure that all those options are put out there for your customer. And you want to refrain from offering incentives in that first message. We feel like you can add more value if you actually do that in an ensuing message as opposed to the very first one. So you may have some time to do some testing here, but if not, try to stay away from that in the first email. If you do send a second email, do so. If you are only sending 1 email, then you might want to try to obviously work it in there. It definitely helps to provide some sort of additional incentive to those customers. Another thing that I wanted to note is that we've noticed many retailers have actually begun sending browse abandonment messages, noting the shopper looked at certain products or categories and then left the actual site. So although the person doesn't cart the items or make the actual purchase, the visit actually provides a lot of important information about his or her interests for you. So you should try to incorporate this information into any of your subsequent messages and kind of try to tailor it in a way that, again, looks unique and shows that you took an extra second to see and care about what they're looking for, as opposed to just quickly sending an email and hoping that they come back with some sort of a wild offer. So these are some of the important things we wanted to highlight, and obviously this is something that's very crucial during the holidays because people do comparison shop and put things in their cart and create that wish list. So make sure that you are implementing at least 1 or 2 of these things so that you're improving your chances of converting sales. The next slide talks about some, basically 5 top tips that can boost your sales again anytime. But like I said, more important for the holidays. You want to minimize the site load times. Definitely true. Shoppers are completely impatient I am, you I'm sure are when you're on a website. If there's only one thing you can do to improve your website, try to optimize your website pages to load quickly. And not just for those lucky DSL connected folks. You know, make sure, because there's still plenty of 56K dial-up consumers out there, so you know, make sure that you're improving those load times. Statistics actually show that 43% of visitors will leave the website if pages don't load within 12 seconds or less, with a 56K connection, of course. But make sure that you're optimizing those as much as you can, if at all possible, if you can invest in that. And you know, you want to, an easy way to do so actually is just by optimizing your graphics. You know, you can remove any unnecessary images. It's great to have images, it's great to have video, but make sure you have those that are relevant, those that are going to sell your top products, those that are going to sell the products with the most margin. But make sure that those that are irrelevant or potentially not necessary for that time, move them out. Use thumbnail images that can be enlarged if your visitor wants more information on a particular product. This is important for the entire site, but especially crucial for shopping areas and main categories. So just make sure that you do have relevant graphics and don't overload with too many. Second, you want to put your best products up front. I mean, clearly, if you've got, you know, the iPod or whatever your product is that, you know, sort of resembles something like that, something that's going to sell, something that you know is popular, put it up front. That's what's going to get people interested. Just like Amazon puts the Kindle up front, you want to put your best product up front, put emphasis on it, and dedicate time and energy into the images and creative that goes for that, and not necessarily for everything else. But you know, you want to make sure that you put those up front. And again, too many clicks always lead to, you know, higher abandon rates. So you make sure that you're you know, leading your customer quickly to where they want to end up. And remember to highlight your exclusives, your best sellers, feature products on your store front page. Navigation bar next, and then also in other shopping areas that you find are key to your website. Third, again, we've talked about it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Create a sense of urgency. Also, coupons and discounts, as James mentioned, those are very important. Display them prominently. And then finally, iFlow. This is something, you know, that you want to always keep in mind, but just know that your visitors come to your website, and the first thing they're going to look at, they're going to scan directly to the upper left area. So make sure the most important things are over there. Second, they're going to move down to the center of the page. And then thirdly, they're going to move over to the left-hand part, the bottom part of the page. But you know, obviously out of all this, the right part is missing. Not that it's not important. You want to put good things there, but the right-hand side column of most websites is usually ignored. It is low priority. So make sure you're not putting your top list there. Make sure you're not putting any important and crucial information on that side. And you know, use that for additional messages, secondary sales information, contact information, things that are not primary but secondary marketing messages should always be thought of and placed on the right side of your web pages. Now, the final section of our webinar today is streamlining shipping and fulfillment. Most of you probably know a lot of this, but I wanted to just highlight and make sure that you're aware. You know, obviously with Stamps.com, you know, we allow you to easily print multiple shipping labels in one pass. You can just simply upload all your orders, review and make your changes, and then print them with just touch of one button. And you can print out shipping labels at a speed of 60 labels per minute. So this is obviously going to come in handy during the holidays for you. You can also purchase high-speed thermal printers if you do not have them. You know, you may find that to be a great investment. If you ship a lot of packages, thermal printer is a great investment. There's no ink to buy, it's easy to operate, and it's faster printing speed. So just so you know, Stamps.com actually supports Zebra, Eltron, Dymo, Seiko, and just to name a few, but we have more up on our website if you can't find, you know, any of those that fit your needs, but definitely look into that. Also, you know, the most important part of this is the batch processing that you can do on the Stamps.com software is fantastic. You can use that and do 1,000 labels at a time with batch printing. Basically, you just import data from any database file. So, you know, that way you can just download everything into the software. You can do anything from an Excel spreadsheet to an XML file to an SQL database. Simply just configure an ODBC connection to your database and start shipping. Important shipping information such as tracking numbers, all of that will post directly back also into your database. So the best thing is you can just import it quickly and make quick prints with USPS postage on there. And again, as I mentioned, as fairly quick speeds, up to 60 labels per minute. And just the next slide quickly shows you what that batch printing looks like. If you haven't been to this page yet, you know, you just click on batch, very easy to use. a few dialog boxes will open up. You'll see you have the option of selecting the type of profile you wish to create, obviously, and then transfer that data, whether it's from a web store, whether it's from an Excel CSV file or an XML shipping file. That's what you'll use to bring it over to your software with Stamps.com. And finally, keep in mind some additional tips. It's important to know, obviously, have your supplies ready. You're going to need more than you're expecting, so hopefully you're going to sell a lot and you're going to need much more in terms of supplies. So make sure you have those supplies, order them in advance. That you still have time to do, so do that quickly. Make sure you have enough packaging, void fill, and you can do all of that now, obviously. You can test your equipment, your space, your workflow. As I mentioned, if you need to invest in a thermal printer, do so. And also it helps to meet your postal carrier and postmaster. USPS picks up. It's good to know them. If in case you're in a bind last minute, you need some assistance, they will almost always come out and help you and pick up your packages. And the most important thing that I want to mention, obviously most of you again probably know this, but you can get free USPS supplies through us or the USPS directly. But just make sure that you stock up on all of that inventory and that you have enough to last you through the holidays. So for additional information about shipping, we have, if you go to our website, Stamps.com/webinars, we'll have some recurring information on recurring webinars that occur, and you can actually sit in on one of those. We have them every week, and they'll take you through advanced shipping modules and how you can improve and learn more about advanced shipping. Obviously, there's information on our website. Should you have any other need for assistance, you can also visit us on customer.stamps.com. You can call us, whatever you like to do. We have plenty of that information that we can share, but I didn't want to spend too much time on it since most of you have already seen some version of that already. So without spending any more time on this, I just wanted to just wrap quickly. Thank you again. We want to just spend a few minutes with Q&A right now. Again, my colleague Eric will take the lead on this, and we're going to just read out some of the questions that have come through that we feel are important for everyone to know about. And if we, again, have not been able to respond to yours just yet, keep in mind we'll do so fairly quickly. So with that, I'll just go ahead and pass that on to Eric now.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Okay, we've got a couple questions here. The first one's from Andre, and he's asking, is Stamps.com integrated with Volusion? And Andre, the answer is yes. Stamps.com recently launched our XML integration with Volusion, and it allows merchants to batch print or to import your orders in via an XML feed, and then and batch print prepaid USPS shipping labels for all of your Volusion orders. So if you're looking for more info on that, it can be found at Stamps.com/Volusion. Again, that's Stamps.com/Volusion, and you can get some more details there. Or I'm sure you could probably find it on Volusion's site as well. It looks like from Kathy. She was asking if how does she determine the shipping deadlines from the USPS to be guaranteed delivery before the December 25th. And Kathy, the deadlines vary by carrier. I believe FedEx and UPS have announced theirs recently, and I think the USPS will be announcing their shipping deadlines any day. We'll certainly get those, and as fast as we get them, we'll be posting them on our blog and throughout the software. So we should have those shipping deadlines for the holiday periods for the USPS very, very soon. And let's see, the last question here is Bonnie. She's asking a paid search question. She's just asking how she pays. How does the Google paid search program work for payment? And does she pay by impression or click or by sale? Well, Bonnie, the program predominantly works on a CPC basis, a cost per click. There are other options where you can pay on an impression level basis or even a per sale basis, where you would use a pixel and you would input that your allowable cost per order in that, and then the system would kind of gravitate towards that that effective cost per order you're looking for. But for the most part, it works on a cost per click basis. So you put in a fee that the highest bid you're willing to pay for a particular click, and then Google works their magic on that end, and you start getting clicks to your site, and then you kind of start optimizing from there. Go in, either add keywords or add what's called a negative keyword to help optimize your campaign. So, like I said, if anybody's new to paid search, just getting started as soon as possible. It could turn into your most effective form of traffic generation. It's a great scalable program, and you can monitor your budgets or your spend really however you want. You can put full throttle and put a big budget, or you can keep it at a very minimal budget. So it's a great option for traffic. All right, Kevin, I think that's it of the questions. I don't see anything else coming in through here, so I think I'll send it back to you to wrap up.
Sounds good. Thank you, Eric. Again, everyone, thanks for joining us. We hope you've obviously found this information useful. We hope you actually be able to take some of these and make them actionable for your company, for your website, for your store. And I want to thank everyone that spent time on the webinar today, all of our customers and everyone else. Obviously, also James Booker from Volusion. Thank you for helping us out today, and of course my colleague Eric here at Stamps.com. Keep in mind anything else that you want to ask, go ahead and send the questions in. We still have a few minutes. I'll leave this open for you to send anything else you might have in here. We will go ahead and respond to you shortly after the webinar is over. Thank you again, and we obviously wish you a happy and successful 2010 holiday season. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of the afternoon.